Most people assume that a new construction project officially begins the exact moment heavy machinery starts moving the earth. But before the first shovel hits the dirt, an entirely separate construction project must occur, building the site itself. A crew needs temporary power drops, perimeter fencing, portable sanitation, and functional field offices just to begin work safely. Then come the secondary layers. Lift equipment rentals, traffic control barricades, and waste management dumpsters must all be staged and ready. Traditionally, general contractors source every single one of these elements from a different local supplier. This creates a complex web of competing delivery schedules, pickup dates, and logistical requirements. The burden of untangling this mess falls on project managers, whose time is redirected from the build to handle basic coordination. The management team is often bogged down in administrative chaos before the project has officially started. In the industry, this preliminary phase is categorized as Division 01, or General Conditions. Division 01 is the section of the project specifications that outlines the administrative and logistical requirements needed to support the construction work. The standard procurement philosophy is to optimize for the lowest possible unit cost by bidding out every individual service to different vendors. This leads to project managers calling multiple rental yards to save a few dollars a day on a temporary generator. This approach appears to protect the project's bottom line by minimizing line item expenses. However, the micro-optimization of unit prices triggers a massive macro-level operational drag on the entire team. A project manager might secure the cheapest daily rates across the board for every piece of temporary equipment. In doing so, they inherit 8 to 12 separate vendors that must be managed simultaneously throughout the project. Contractors must decide whether to chase the lowest line item price or preserve their team's operational bandwidth for the actual build. This graphic illustrates the back-office impact of managing a dozen site vendors. As shown here, every individual vendor requires a separate contract negotiation and its own specific insurance certificate processing. Then there is the billing cycle. 12 vendors means 12 separate invoices arriving at different times every month. The accounting department then has to cross-reference every invoice against a different purchase order, which consumes significant staff time. This process repeats for every monthly billing cycle, compounding the administrative overhead. This visual also identifies the increased compliance risk. Each sub-tier vendor brings its own safety and regulatory profile to the job site. Fragmented liability makes it difficult to enforce uniform OSHA and environmental standards during the critical early days of a project. This coordination burden primarily affects project managers and the accounting staff. They lose hours every week correcting billing errors and trying to align basic delivery windows across a fragmented supply chain. The administrative cost of managing a dozen vendors often negates the marginal savings gained from bidding them out individually. Beyond the back office, fragmented procurement creates physical risks on the job site. Misaligned delivery schedules cause a domino effect. If the temporary fencing is late, expensive equipment may arrive at an unsecured site. This chart details the specific financial relationship between mobilization speed and the project's final profit margin. Coordinating multiple independent vendors increases the risk of logistical bottlenecks that can delay the entire project schedule. A loss of up to 1% of total profit due to early schedule delays is significantly more expensive than paying a slight premium for a consolidated site setup. A common operational countermeasure is the vendor consolidation model. This is general conditions as a service. A single partner handles the mobilization phase. Dozens of calls and contracts are replaced by one point of contact for all site services. This ensures sequence delivery, preventing bottlenecks that delay mobilization. The trade-off is that the general contractor delegates the selection of individual sub-tier providers to this strategic partner. This delegation reclaims project manager bandwidth, and it ensures the site is operational and compliant on day one. Choosing the right logistics model depends on your project size and the complexity of your coordination efforts. Fragmented bidding remains effective for small, local projects, where schedule pressure is low and relationships with local rental yards are strong. As projects grow, the fragmented model eventually hits a threshold where administrative friction begins to overwhelm the management team. For mid to large commercial projects, vendor consolidation becomes a structural requirement to protect the project's margins. Real project efficiency comes from the precise sequencing of site services. Success depends on the fence, power, and field offices arriving in the right order so that crews can start building immediately.